vision is so important, right? Because vision, it lets you know, first of all, what you think about yourself. Because you use your eyes to see. So if your vision is not far or is really nearsighted, then it probably means you don't believe much about what can happen for you. So I think it's important first to just figure out how your eyes perceive your situation. I think vision is important too because it lets you know where you're going, right? And so the words say, write the vision, make it plain. So even your thought process while writing, how do you feel about that? What limiting beliefs do you have? What unbelief do you have? You know, even with my walk, I've had to question my belief system. Why do I believe that way about that? You know, Lord, what do you say about that? What does your word say about that? And let it be true to me, not just head knowledge.
Many people are stuck in the place that they're in largely because of the fact that they're not around people that challenge them. And it's not that they don't know those people don't challenge them, it's that they're scared to be alone.
I am going to make a personal commitment to execution over perfection.
Right now, my company is making, over $200,000 a month.
If you give me a piece of music, what am I going to play? And you put that same, piece of music or elements of music in the hands of Michael Jackson, what is that going to create? Little becomes much when you place it in the hands of the master.
That works for me, man. Alrighty. It is another episode of Believers Breathe, the podcast, where we sit down with leaders and entrepreneurs and we talked about self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-worth. It's been a whirlwind, I'm imagining, for you over the last week or two. And take this the right way, not the wrong way. Before we get started, are we buckled up here? Are we buckled up?
Oh, that's a good one. I put a pin right here. This is the same one, so we
That's
good.
the same one.
We Gucci.
Hey, you what's this thing they got going, the NFT? I might need to get a picture and do an NFT with it or something like that.
I've heard of NFTs, but I'm not familiar.
Me either, but it sounds cool. It sounds cool.
For sure.
So before we dive in, just tell people who you are and a little bit about what you do.
So my name is Whitney Davis. Just Witty online. I'm a comedian, actress, writer, director. I do a lot of stuff, but right now I'm known for my hair falling off my head. But I'm so much more, and I'm excited to be here and talk about it. So.
It's hard to move past that because I feel like I've seen a lot of that over the last week, and if I've seen a lot, I know you have seen quadruple that.
For sure.
Has that changed anything for you?
That event?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So, first of all, we'll probably talk about the event. I don't know, but afterwards, it's been reposted by everybody, from the Shade Room to Snoop Dogg to I Am Duvall, Elise. So many people. It's just circulating. Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. I'm so happy we posted it when we did. Laterris, because we posted a reel earlier that morning. We was going to post it tomorrow, but he was like, people are already trying to. He was like, if it's going to go viral, we going to post it. So we posted that night, and it just
went crazy.
It went crazy.
I don't know him, but shout out to Dear Future Wifey podcast.
For sure.
It seems like he's doing good work over there. So if you hear this, keep it up. And y'all had a moment.
We
had a moment.
We did.
That's cool, though. That's cool. I mean, I don't know if you... Because when I first watched it, I was like... Because I know you're funny. and that's what you do. And I'm like, did she plan this? And then I watched it, and I'm like, no. And what really got me and had me like falling out laughing was the bruh. Because that's what I would say to my homeboys. So it was a very genuine moment. I felt it as much as I can as a man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't planned. If I could go viral on any opportunity, it would not be that.
No. Gotcha.
And that's what I was saying. It was because I was transparent in the interview, but then transparent on my body. It's
and it was during a serious moment too,
right
in the interview.
And a lot of people thought that was my real hair, so that's why I was like, y'all, I got hair. Because people would comment and be like, you know,
she ain't.
Yeah, well, they'd be like, can you drop your hair care routine? Because it's so pretty. When I would wear the wig, so I felt like I didn't want to be deceitful in that way, because I do have a lot of hair, but it just was not that at the moment. So, I mean, I come from an athletic background. We went to church that morning, and he showed me myself on the screen. So I was like, you know what, I should push my hair back just to see my profile a little bit better. That's literally, and I put my lashes on. I'm like, I got I'm good. I was not good. And that happened. And I didn't pin it because I had a headband on. Like, people was like, that was a blue headband and then a black. It was a whole thing. But when it happened, I couldn't, because he didn't even know it wasn't my real hair. So I was being embarrassed, like, generally, but specifically too. Exactly. So it was a thing.
That's wild. That's wild. Let's talk about the athletic background. Are you one of the people that played sports, or did you, like, you for real, like, you can hoop?
Oh man, I was a hooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up. So my mom, she was All-State.
She from here?
No, she's from Michigan.
Okay.
She was the first one to be All-State at her school, and then my dad, he was like a legend at his school. So I kind of had it genetically, but I grew up hooping with the dudes, hoping they give me a chance. And hey, if I get on the court,
you like that.
Y'all gonna want me on your team again. That was my goal. Cause the girl, I grew up kind of nerdy, so you kind of gotta prove yourself. So that was a thing. In high school, I played varsity all 4 years, and then I was All-American JUCO. Yeah, and then I transferred to Stony Brook, and I played some show ball in my mid-20s, toured playing show ball.
So you can hoop.
Yeah,
Are you still active at it, or you hung it up?
I'm so out of shape. I'm so out of shape. But I really want to make that a goal, like within the next year, to actually be in shape enough to play defense and offense. You know, full court, that's crazy. Full court, oh my God.
You standing in the corner right now, just shooting.
Oh, yeah, if I'm open gym, yeah. Even the jabs.
I do not like playing with people like that, because I get down on defense.
See.
Because I can control that. Like, if I ain't in the gym, my jump shot might not be going, but,
your defense dependable.
I can at least defend somebody.
For sure.
So, yeah, we would have to talk about that.
Yeah. Then that's why I don't really play like that.
Yeah. So you played in college. It seems like athletics was like your thing, right? But even now, there are a lot of people that probably don't know that background because of how you have blossomed online. And so I'm interested to know, like, how you got into this whole digital space. You introduce yourself as a comedian. So have you always been like the funny teammate, or is this something that kind of just, you like, dang, I'm low key funny?
Well, so I grew up in a sarcastic household. So kind of dry humor, but silly. So throughout school, my friends knew I was funny, but I wouldn't be the class clown. I would be the one making really witty jokes quickly, where the teacher can't catch me. But my friend is cracking up, but I'm, So, my dad, he used to record us on our on a camera growing up. So, I just naturally wanted a camera when I got older, and he bought me my first one in high school. And so I used to take it on the road when we played ball, and like in the hotel rooms, I would make us do talk shows, and and people be different characters. So I got like film from like a long time ago with teammates, and so I've always loved to kind of entertain in a way and record it. Comedy, I started writing comedy in 2015, just writing jokes. So then I was like, I don't really have nobody to act it out, so let me start doing skits. So that's kind of how I got into presenting it online. But it wasn't like, let me be a comedian. It was more so like, I kind of enjoy doing this stuff, and I'm going to share it. My first skit was, I got the big chop, so I just had myself on my MacBook talking about how my hair looked like broccoli. Yeah. So it just developed after a while.
See, I feel like that's the stuff you do, and you may be trying to be funny, but it seems so natural. Like, and people around you, I can see classmates just like falling out the chair laughing, and your teacher is trying to figure out like what is happening in my classroom.
For sure.
So like that low key funny is, I think it's definitely a space for that.
I agree.
What, if you could, I want to talk about the writing piece, because you said you got into like doing the skits because you didn't have any talent to act out all of these ideas you had flowing. What are your thoughts around people that are in either, this space or any space that have ideas but don't necessarily have a team or have everything that is like the picture perfect way to make it come alive? Like, what do you say to those people?
Well, I would say believe in whatever you're doing, right? So it got to be bigger than you, because if you're looking for validation on a journey, you probably not going to get it, And so I learned that a while ago, because I would be making a lot of skits and they would not be getting, feedback. And I'd be looking at other people like, bruh, this is not funny to me. And so, but I had to even train my eyes to stop looking at likes and comments. I still do that. So that I don't, because being human, I feel like our ego and our emotions are natural. So it's like, oh, they ain't do as well. Let me feel a type of way about it. So it's like I do those things. But to the person who doesn't have all the resources, I would say, just get started. Get started. And two, my dad, he told me to walk through doors that you can't see where it's going. Meaning, take opportunities and you will meet people that will help your journey, right? Even if you, like I did this podcast like 4 years ago, and I'm like, I don't even like my voice, but let me try. So I met Zachary Pope doing that, and I wasn't a good fit for the podcast, but we started the web series. He was like, your personality needs to be, and he the one who believed in me. But it wouldn't have happened if I would have been like, I ain't doing no podcast, what?
I don't know what that was.
I don't either.
But we gonna pray that we good.
That was under the feet. I felt that.
In my soul.
Right?
Yes, Lord.
Legit.
Move, Lord. Got it. And so I think that a lot of people get this is, I don't know if I've ever said this, stuck before they even get started. And it's because of fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of change, whatever it may be. And so I'm assuming at some point along the way, you had some of these barriers, these mental barriers. What was it to make you say, all right, I got these ideas, I ain't got nobody to do it, I'm just gonna go for it? Was there a specific moment in time, or was it just like, man, I can't keep writing and filling up my notebook and not letting people see my talents?
You know, I don't even think I thought about all that stuff back then, but fear is a real thing. I did it for fun. And I think that's important for people to connect with something that's fun too, versus duty, versus purpose, you know, like pressure. So I think it's first relating it to something you want to do. So that's eliminated. I do feel like that I have a bigger audience. I kind of, those thoughts try to come in, right? So are you like imposter syndrome in a way? Like, can you still, are you still? And so what I do for that is just focus on the one, knowing that whatever I do will connect to one person. And my job is done, right? So if it's impacted. So what I would say to people who fear is first take a leap of faith and hope for the best, right? We're not taking a leap of faith expecting to fall, right? So we're taking a leap of faith excited for whatever the outcome is. Now, I've learned to surrender the outcome. That's why I don't look at likes. That's why I don't look at, because after I put it out, that is what it is, right? And so surrendering and then having grace with whatever results you do see. So, you know, if it don't hit like that, having grace, like, whoa, you did it though. That's a good job. You know, being your best cheerleader, because that stuff will crumble you, you know? And so that, I think that's really important, just those steps. I just made a video about fear yesterday. Because I used to couldn't even talk in public or present in class because my voice used to quiver.
Really?
Legit. I would be sweating under my, I would have headaches. Attention used to knock me out. Yeah. So fear does make your nervous system react, but I feel like with practice, you figure out the relationship. You turn it into excitement versus, you know, crumbling you.
Yeah. And so as you dive deeper into this space, do you have mentors, or are there people in the space or that have already navigated to some space and time that you look up to in this? Or back in 2015 when you wrote that first skit, did you have someone that was like, he or she is doing some cool stuff and I think I got something similar, let me see what they're doing and kind of model myself after that, or take tidbits from here and there and kind of piece it into my own?
That's a really good question. Because even when I used to hoop, people used to be like, who do you, you know, kind of emulate or model yourself? And I wish I had an answer, but I don't. I just literally, like I've never, like, I don't know, I've never tried to model somebody. And I feel like the Lord has really given me the gift of creativity, you know, where it's just creative things and I'm able to adapt. But the Lord has blessed me with mentors who know the industry, who I can ask questions to, who can guide me, you know, when I don't know, because I'm still really green to entertainment and even the land of entertainment. So, yeah, I don't got nobody. But I do have artists that I, you know, admire, but not to emulate their work, if that makes sense. Like their work ethic, for sure.
And so as you think about, so there's this, I mean, I'll call it friction. There's this friction, I think, between those that may be traditional comedians and kind of got their start on stage versus those that have been able to capture attention in the digital space on social media now. And so as you think about those very different worlds, what do you see the biggest difference to be when it comes to capturing people's attention? And do you feel like there's this certain homage that has to be paid, that they went about it this way and kind of opened the door for people like yourself? Or is it like, hey, this is just the space and time that we're in with technology, and I've just taken full advantage?
That's a good question. I think the legends are legends. I think stand-up comedians, people who have earned their place in this world, that's homage, right? They work really hard, you know, going to clubs.
That's hard.
Yes. I've tried stand-up.
What you think?
I sat down.
Stood up and sat down.
I sure did. Yeah, so it's much respect to the ones who can master live audiences. Now, I've done variety shows where I've had a script or improv and I'll be straight. But stand up, we ain't got the best relationship. I done bombed. A few, too many times. It's almost like trauma. Like, you gonna keep going to do that?
Yeah.
But either way, with the digital space, I think for me, I do want to develop everything, right, for longevity. I don't want to just be somebody on the internet. You know, I want to be able to talk to crowds and interact with people and build real relationships. I think sometimes social media presents brands and people who might not be sustainable in real life or develop those characteristics because it's a camera on your phone and you press upload, you know, and so that is a difference. But I think each side deserves respect because we is in a time where we're figuring out how to make media work for you is important.
Yep.
And sometimes those people who are maybe old school can't really connect because they don't know how, you know, so yeah.
Why did you bomb? What was so different about it?
Oh my God. Ooh, eesh. Okay, so I study my set. I do my jokes. The thing about stand-up is the crowd doesn't know you. My audience knows me, so they know my sense of humor. So if I go on stage and I'm dry, they gonna think I'm just telling a story. You know?
Yeah.
And so figuring out yourself live on stage, on top of your nerves, on top of remembering everything, and then walking off stage and agreeing to do it again, I have not. It's not that fun to me for me to keep doing it versus, you know. So, but, you know, there's a space for that if that's in my future, but not today.
Not today.
Not today.
I feel like stand-up, on top of everything that you mentioned, it's one take. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no redo in the moment. So,
for sure,
if I drop the ball is dropped.
It's dropped.
Whereas social media, you know, I can hit record again and.
For sure.
Dang. That's a gift.
Yes, and you have to be confident. Because when people start bombing, you could just tell where they mind be. Because they might start dogging themselves out. They might start going at the crowd like, "Y'all, I'm funny," you know. So when I used to bomb, I used to be like, you know, I thank y'all for listening. I just get off, you know, humbly like.
How did you like? What was what signs did you see in the crowd that let you know like, oh, they ain't in this?
You know, because when you practice, you have spots in your head where you think they're gonna laugh.
And it's quiet.
And it mess up your rhythm because you like, dang, this ain't hitting. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's live. So you figuring out the internal while the external showing.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough. Shout out to everybody that has
Stand
mastered
up.
that craft, because yeah. I ain't on that.
It's a no. It's a no for me, for sure.
And so if you think about I guess a genre of your type of comedy, and not to box you in or like pigeonhole you into a category, what would you say that genre is?
I would say dry humor, but kind of wet. Yeah, I feel like my sarcasm is dry, but it's like dramatic. Does that make sense? So it's like you say something on the slide, but it's like, whoa, is that what
Yeah.
what you meant?
Is that what you meant?
Yeah. And so I think I really do enjoy that. I enjoy when somebody's running really fast, but then it's a slowness about it too that the crowd can comprehend. Yeah. So that
makes
balance.
sense. That's you. I can see
Yeah.
that.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's like I didn't even know really about The Office till I think my sister told me about it.
I'm like not far into that myself. Like I haven't seen a bunch of episodes of it.
Yeah.
It's like well until adulthood when I was introduced.
Same. Just like Bernie Mac show.
See, Bernie Mac I knew a little bit about.
See, and I knew that would be the separation. I really did. But I tried. Yeah, maybe last year I just watched like on Netflix a bunch of Bernie Macs. I'm like, whoa, he was funny.
Yeah, he was a funny dude.
Oh my God.
He was funny.
Hilarious.
Funny dude.
Yeah,
Funny dude.
but that's cool.
So what is your current approach to content? I have my thoughts about it. But as you create content right now, what is your, I guess, go-to subject area?
Personally? So I love, which is crazy to even say, but I love comedy that's cringy and vulnerable. I think those are two things that the internet is missing a lot. People actually being open about stuff, and it could be simple stuff. And then the cringiness of, I really like you. Do you like me back? It's like, who says that? And it's awkward for me to watch. So I enjoy those things. I enjoy the nuances of relationships and figuring out the details. So that's kind of where my comedy goes, because I feel like it's a lane for that. And that's kind of what makes up life is the details. So like today, I dropped one about boundaries.
Do you have capacity for this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, but so many people struggle from it. So I try to have a lesson in there too, where you can walk away and be like, dang, okay, I probably need to work on that. It's funny, but
very true.
Yeah. So I do try to have purpose, some kind of purpose if I can in it. But yeah.
And so a lot of it is, it seems like it's connected to kind of this backdoor journey into your life of like being single, navigating that weird relationship space. Curious to know, because I feel confident that you are going to be like in a prosperous relationship, you are going to be married, everything that you desire. What is going to be different about your approach to comedy, like when you are not making like the single jokes anymore?
That's a good question. Everything Gucci?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure because
Yeah.
I be recording stuff too and I feeling the type of way. Is this too? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, okay, good. I heard a noise. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think my comedy would change. I think situations will change. So same in relationships. I think I'll be able to help people in relationships. Once I learn, nuances in that. It's like, what I hear, dying to self. That's a whole skit. Arguments, disagreements, that's a whole skit, and trust. So it's like, I think in life, you just figure out what's real to you and you make material out of it. That's what I plan to do. Because I think that way it relates to somebody all the time. I don't think the style would change. I think the message probably will. Yeah. 'Cause a lot, I read this one comment. This guy was like, you better not ever get in a relationship. You're going to be toast. Like your content. Yeah, it just be some really dark ones sometimes that my eyes catch. I'm like, man, why did I see that?
Yeah.
But a lot of people they don't know what's going to happen when that happen. But
That ain't something you thinking about.
no,
I ain't worried
not
about
at
that.
all. I'm trying to help. Honestly, I didn't even want to. I had a week where I was like, man, I've been doing this single stuff a long time. I hope this don't turn into a joke. You know? And I was like starting to feel like discouraged, like, Jesus, I've been doing these husband prayers. I'm like, Lord, have mercy. And so I talked to my friend and he was like, you just really got to embrace the season you in and get the fruit out of it, because that's what it's here for, versus trying to make a whole different type of comedy, which is what I was doing. Because I'm like, you know, you just had a moments like, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, is this a joke? But, and so then I just surrendered and I was like, you know what? And then that's when I made a single life skit, my single life. You know, it's like, let me just go ahead and embrace it. And so many people was like, oh my God, I can relate. You know, bringing groceries in by myself, you know, struggling. And so you just make the best out of it.
So you talked about this comment that some troll put.
Right.
What is your connection to follower engagement? Because earlier you talked about like not being consumed by the likes and comments and so forth. But there's also a component to social media that like there needs to be some connection.
For sure.
What are your thoughts around like I respond to this, but I don't respond to that? Is like, do you have some type of, I don't want to say formula, it sounds real rigid, but is there a process for you to take in all this information, balance it without going crazy?
Yeah, so what I do, honestly, when my followers started growing, what I was doing was something I saw on YouTube. So they said post, and then every 15 minutes within the hour, you go back and respond to people. So I think the first 10 minutes or 20 minutes is really important for engagement. And then, so what I used to do is I would just put my timer every 15 minutes. I would come back and respond to like 6 comments or something, 5 comments, random. And then after an hour, I would just be done unless I want to go back. So even my videos, I haven't seen all the comments on them because it helps my mental health to just
walk away.
Yeah, walk away and disconnect. So I don't take it so heavy. So that's what I do.
Did that work? Did that help like your following and engagement?
I think so. I started doing that, I think, when I did the flirting in my 30 skits. And I'm really not good at TikTok. I don't hardly respond ever on there. I kind of feel bad. So people be calling me out like, she ain't gonna never respond. And I'm like, eesh.
Don't be bougie.
Right. I'm guessing people have a system. I don't know. But either way, yeah, it did help.
Yeah.
I believe it did.
And so when I think about people that are influencers or celebrities, every now and then you see them like take on a negative comment, and I'll rumble a little bit. You know, you feel free. Feel froggy too.
Right.
Has there ever been a moment to where you felt the need to respond to something that was negative?
I be having them. I do. I be having them. Like even with the wig slip, there's so many people who just think they know you. They just know you personally. This one person was like, yeah, she uses her comedy to hide her pain. Like, yeah, and so I be going to these people pages sometime, and jokes be coming to me. But I'm like, I'm not going to operate out of that. Because I could really use that for not good. So, and really slick, sarcasm is like my gift. So it's like, so to answer your question, yes, I definitely have felt that way, but I don't. I just use self-control. Because I don't want nobody screenshot me then. We going crazy. Yeah.
That's good. You overcome that petty spirit.
That's a petty spirit, yes.
I ain't always that gifted.
I'm telling you, I be thinking about my future half the time.
Yeah.
So that's what keep me too.
That's funny. So a lot of what you do also has like this spiritual bed to it, and I think we're in a like a weird age and time to where you have people that proclaim God, proclaim Jesus, very straightforward about it, and then you got others that like there's this universe thing going on. And so with so many different mindsets around, I guess, theological ideas, are you straight up about who you are, what you believe, or are you like, I'm gonna be an audience for everybody. I want everyone to be able to like take on my comedy. Or is it like, no, this is who I am and you gotta get with it? Or
Yeah, so I'm very foundational. So I'll talk about Jesus. Jesus, my savior.
straight up.
Yeah, I talk about God, the Father, the Holy Spirit. I think the way God wants to use me is through love, right? And so I feel like love reaches a multitude of people. However, it's important to know what you believe in, even in regards to love, right? And so I think a lot of people can relate to feelings, love, spirituality, because we're all human. So I always try to connect with humanity, but through my vessel, through my eyes, through my lens. I mean, people, even on my church stuff, because I've taken biblical stories and made stuff out of it, people have commented, like, I'm atheist, but she's hilarious. So the Lord is reaching people through comedy. And other people, like, I don't even read the Bible. I don't believe in Jesus, but this is so funny because they know the story. Yeah, so I'm aware of everything, but I can only, be the vessel he called me to be in the end.
And I think that's like a perfect painting of what God wants from us, right? Like we all have these gifts and these talents, and like because we're exposed to so much information, like we can find ourselves, like I can try to be you and you can try to be me.
For sure.
But we've all been gifted with certain things. And so I
Yes.
think it's really good to see someone going back to that vulnerability where like being themselves.
Yeah.
Especially in like the social media space when there's so many different ideas and people following and commenting and so on and so forth. Do you think you make God laugh?
That's a good question. I think, because even with my skits, I'd be like, Holy Spirit, you got anything?
Yeah.
So I write out my skits, but then I act it and stuff be coming to me. So then I watch it over and I'd be like laughing. I'd be like, that was good.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking to the Lord. So I do feel like we have a relationship where laughter is huge. And I don't know if he laughs at me, but I feel like he smiles at me for sure. Yes. Like she's something else.
Is there anything, because you got some old school saints that are like, you don't be playing with God like that. Have you ever thought about that might be a little bit too far or too much?
So I think, because even Christianity is very religious people. It's so many categories in Christianity, right? I grew up super religious, So if it's the self-righteous Christian, you know, it's the Christian that won't tell you they full testimony, but they tell you they
That good part.
overcame.
Yes, sir.
You
yes,
know,
sir.
it's like, but what did that feel like? I can't remember the Lord. The Lord delivered me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so for me, I'm very transparent and vulnerable, and everybody can relate to that in the Christian world. Even the way I relate to life, everybody can relate. So I've learned to just be myself, and whoever accepts it, or if it's too much, then people adjust. You know, because I've been in Christian groups where people be like, that's too risque. If I talk about like sex or taboo subjects or make jokes about stuff, it's like, nah, they not gonna accept that. It's like, but how are we gonna change this environment if we don't talk about it?
Come on.
You know, and so that's kind of the pull and tug with Christians in a way, because they lift you up, but once you make a mistake, where's the cross? You know, it's like, yeah. So that's the thing. I haven't experienced the latter, but I know that's a possibility. I mean, even in the world. So it's like taking things, knowing that things are fleeting. You know, and I mean vapor-ish. So yeah.
So I'm always interested with leaders and entrepreneurs about this purpose and this passion that's on this side, but the paper that has to be on this side. And when I say paper, I'm talking about the financial responsibilities that we have in life, right?
Yeah.
Is this something that like you see being your thing? If so, like what does the growth of social media and how you can finance the gifts that you have, like what does that look like? Because there are a lot of people that want to grow their social media. They have these grand ideas and they, like I remember talking to you, I don't know, we were outside trying to figure out when we first met about like these ideas and like now these things are happening. But what do you say to the person and like what does it look like to monetize the gifts that we have?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I'm still learning. I bought the Kev on Stage, course. I guess that's a plug. But I bought that course and he talks about a lot of those details like monetizing. He gives examples and stuff. And so I've kind of invested in myself with people who know the way. So I've bought courses to figure out everything. LLC, how do I start that? You know, just stuff I don't know because I didn't grow up in a household with business owners. Or, you know, and social media just start hitting within last 10 years, a decade. So for me, I'm still learning. I know that like Instagram gives bonus reels for money.
What does that mean?
So if you get a certain amount of views, then they'll pay you. They'll pay you for your reel count and your Facebook views, right? And so people are making a lot of money off Facebook videos, like $50,000 a month. Somebody shared with me they made $50,000 just from Facebook.
Wow.
Crazy. And YouTube, that's really where I need to figure it out. But monetizing on YouTube, people are changing their lives. Like $10,000 a month, passive income. What?
Video posted, money coming in.
Come on. And you literally see the dollar sign going up. So for me, I'm just figuring out streams. Like the shirt that I just made for the wig falling off. It's like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's literally, so brand deals. So brands reaching out to you to promote their product, to create videos for their products. Learning that type of stuff, you know, and even business talk and negotiation, it's all a process. I wish it was classes on this stuff. You know, and to have integrity and, you know, treat people correctly too.
Yeah.
In business while you're learning, hoping they're not getting you.
Fingers crossed. Right. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So for the person who's trying to monetize, I would literally go to YouTube. That's really, it sounds simple, but when I started going to YouTube, even for like hashtags and just little tweaks, that's when I started seeing growth. They used to always talk about a niche. I'm like, I don't know what my niche is. I'm an adult. Okay, let me do adulting. You know,
Yeah.
So figuring out your niche, that's a thing, because people want to come to your page to see something. You know, and they want it to have value, so you have to find your value. But yeah, I would just say go to YouTube and search what you looking for.
What are your thoughts around consistency?
Consistency. So I definitely, everybody's creative flow is different, right? So some people might create a video once every couple weeks, but whatever they create, their audience is waiting for, right? So it hit them really hard. Some people, like myself, I get ideas all the time. So it's like, I don't want to cheat, because I went through a stage of wanting to post once a week so I can get all the likes I could. So it could be an algorithm, you know. But then the Lord was like, give freely. And so I was like, okay. And that's literally, that was a time before my prayer went viral. Because the prayer was vulnerable too. And I'm like, people going to think I'm desperate for a husband. Jesus, what is this? You know. But so I would say figure out what your consistency looks like. Because the algorithm going to do what it wants to. The algorithm be bullying people, pressuring you like you need to post 3 videos. God is my algorithm.
Yeah.
That's pressurous. So figuring out what your flow is and giving freely and just surrendering the results.
That's good, because you've seen a lot of growth. You've seen a lot of growth.
Within the last week, it almost 100,000 followers.
That's wild.
That's wild. Legit.
Do you feel a different level of obligation, or is everything the same for you?
You know, before the podcast, I was actually going to do a social media break. I literally texted him, was like, you know, maybe we could just do it next season, this interview. So I was kind of down in my spirits and just life. So he was like, no, come this weekend. He was like, I'm going to get a ticket tomorrow. God going to change your life. He just, that's the thing too. Some people, energy, they call it vibrations, but their spirit are on different levels, and you can feel when other people are vibrating kind of low. You know, and their speech is kind of like, oh, I can't do that. It's no way. Then it's people who like, let's create a way.
Yep.
This is what's exactly. And he literally boosted my energy that weekend, and even the podcast. I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. He got the Shade Room creator coming on. He got the famous pastor coming on. I'm like, I'm not as cool as these people. What? And he like, we just gonna flow. You know, whatever the Holy Spirit do, we just gonna. So I said all that to say, I was gonna take a break because I was overwhelmed with the unknown, and to having a responsibility of people depending on me for laughter or content. So I've relieved myself of that, and I'm gonna just post as I will, versus feeling like I need to. Because that was the association before. I don't feel like that no more.
That's good.
Yeah, so.
That's good. What I do to close every podcast is I blow up this balloon, and I ask my guests to write one word or one phrase that you think stands in between people and their goals. One word or one phrase that you think stands in between people and their goals. I'm going to blow it up, let you think, and then I'll let you write.
Okay. It's funny, before you even said that, I had a word. Just one word.
Just one?
Not a word. Not a word from the Lord, but a word popped in my head.
He might give you one word.
Hey, that's true. Wow, that was fast with 2 breaths.
You know, I'm trying to work out.
Sheesh. All right. Wow, I haven't wrote.
It's the digital world.
Right. Dog, I hope I spelled that right. No, do I show him?
What we got? Oh, it's upside down. Vision. Vision. I don't know if y'all can see it, but vision. Say more about that.
Yeah, so I think vision is so important, right? Because vision, it lets you know, first of all, what you think about yourself. Because you use your eyes to see. So if your vision is not far or is really nearsighted, then it probably means you don't believe much about what can happen for you. So I think it's important first to just figure out how your eyes perceive your situation. I think vision is important too because it lets you know where you're going, right? And so the words say, write the vision, make it plain. So even your thought process while writing, how do you feel about that? What limiting beliefs do you have? What unbelief do you have? You know, even with my walk, I've had to question my belief system. Why do I believe that way about that? You know, Lord, what do you say about that? What does your word say about that? And let it be true to me, not just head knowledge. So I feel like if you have a vision, you can make a plan. So once you start making a plan, then you can bring it to life versus just in your mind. So a lot of people have stuff in their mind, and you be like, you know, but it's not coming to pass because it's just an idea. So you got to make it real. So once you make it real, then break it down. How do I take steps towards this? You know, how do I figure out how to maintain it? And it's not about knowing everything. It's about taking action. Because it's easy to be complacent when you not going nowhere. You know, it's like, so if I'm walking, then I'm actually having movement versus standing still talking. So I think vision is huge. And even as I'm saying it, I haven't even thought about the next year or two. Because I haven't even sat down with myself and said, Lord, what can we make happen? Or what can I say as a request, and you do whatever you want with it? What idea can I have versus just going with the flow of life? I think sometimes, too, we experience so much disappointment in life. It's hard to have vision and hope for the future, especially when you try really hard or you might not see results. But I think it's important to just keep the pen going. You know, even when life does not reflect what the pen. I mean, is that not Kanye? Kanye's life?
Yeah.
Literally talking about everything when you not even near it. It is so much power in, I mean, people call it manifesting, but it's so much power in seeing things, even visioning how it would feel when I do this. Because things do happen in the spiritual realm. The opposite, too, when you say, I can't. It's like you making agreements with these words and holding yourself hostage. So I would say vision. I think that's really important for any generation to have about their future.
That's good. I want to end it, but I got a burning question.
Okay.
And feel free to pause before you answer. So you said you haven't really had an opportunity to think about the next year or two and what that looks like. But I do want to ask a question. In a year or two from now, What needs to be true for you to look back and say, I won and I took full advantage of what God has gifted me with? Is there like this picture that you can see for yourself when you talk about vision to say, if this is true, I know God is smiling at me?
That's a really good question. I think the answer is simple for me in the way of what needs to be true for me to say I won is, first off, me being free. And when I say that, I mean free being myself wherever I am in 2 years. I don't want to mold into something else because of people I talk to, because of opportunities. I want to, first off, still be myself. I think for me to win, I want to partner with the Holy Spirit with every decision I make. Because I think a lot of doors are really nice, but specific doors unlock access quicker. You know, God works with everything. Nothing is wasted. But I want to be very strategic about whatever opportunities I take. I believe money will come. I believe, you know, I won't struggle financially. I believe freedom and all those things. But I just always want to be myself, and I always want to include the Lord in my decision making. And I feel like with that, I'm going to be super Gucci.
Yeah.
Just, you know, free, and I'm pretty sure my life will look different, but if I got them two things, I feel like that's what I need in life to survive, to win, period. Yeah, so those are the two things that come to mind, because even Hollywood, a lot of people are pretending. They not themselves. Yeah, and so a lot of people not even in touch with themselves because they've created this person that people like, and they don't even know if they like themselves. So it's like, I'd rather be somebody that somebody liked than, and I just struggle internally, but nobody don't know. You know, so it's like, in my relationship with God, I can't compromise that. This life really nice, but eternity looking longer.
That's a long time.
Okay, I ain't going. So yeah.
But we're gonna pop this balloon, and we are going to take the life out of people having a lack of vision, and whatever we can do to partner with them to, like you said, take those steps and keep moving.
For sure.
Hopefully that nobody else felt that in their feet like we felt that explosion.
Right.
That
was nice.
So how can people get in contact, see your content, if they want to shoot their shot? What's happening? How can they do all that stuff?
Well, Just Witty is my tag everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Same across the board. Yeah, if you're a brand, I do have an email.
Hey.
And that's in my link in my bio.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you. We're going to have to get some shots up or something.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast.
For sure.
Enjoy myself.
Cool.